Good morning.
Good
morning. Keep this out of the
Yeah.
Talking about oneness today. In our theme of at oneness. The source, God, the infinite, what Ernest Holmes calls the thing itself. Everything, everyone, including you and me, are all one. We can experience and realize this oneness, and we can live from it in a life of unconditional love and infinite joy. It brings up what I call a delicious paradox. There's all this variety, there's all these things, all these people, and yet it's all one. I invite you to take a look around the room. Look at all the things, the artwork, the walls, the floors. And look at all the beautiful individuals that are here today. And look at all this variety, color, shape, sizes, everything. And now look around again and feel this oneness. See everyone here, all the objects here, the mountains outside, the sky, everything. Many yet one. It's delicious.
Delicious.
Different people in different eras of time and different parts of the world, different spiritual traditions, have all perceived this oneness. In fact, they sometimes call the idea of oneness as part of a perennial philosophy. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science now called Centers for Spiritual Living, in our main textbook, The Science of Mind, writes, "We shall never encompass God, and yet we shall always be in God and of God." That brings up another delicious paradox. We say that God is immanent, God is right here, God is in every little molecule of our bodies, of our minds, everything. And yet God is transcendent. God is in the whole universe, but God is even beyond the whole universe. Immanent and transcendent. In the Zen tradition, the scholar D.T. Suzuki writes, speaking of this realization of oneness, "The lightning and thunder discovery that the universe and oneself are not remote and apart, but an intimate, palpitating whole." In the Native American tradition, Black Elk, a Native American visionary, writes, "At the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit." And the center is really everywhere. It is within each one of us. I'm going to a Hendricks Foundation training in a couple of weeks, and Gay Hendricks is this gay and Kathleen Hendricks. He writes in his book, Conscious Living, "There's a great deal of power in finding the space of pure consciousness within ourselves. Once you feel it, you can never have any more doubts about the divine nature of the universe and your connection to it." I had a great experience of this oneness when I was living in Chicago. I was practicing in the Zen tradition, and I had a whole bunch of Zen books. One of them had this exercise, this practice, where you go into action, you're doing something, and whatever it is you're doing, you're constantly asking the question, what is it that does the action? So I was taking a walk down the lakefront, Lake Michigan, Chicago. I was constantly asking myself, "Oh no, what is it that walks? What is it that walks?" And I didn't get an answer for a while. But then I rounded this bend in the road. I got up to Oak Street. There's a famous beach there called Oak Street Beach. It's really beautiful. There's the Lake Michigan. It's almost as big as an ocean. And there's a concrete walkway. There's the sand. There's Lakeshore Drive. This nice tree-lined boulevard. There's a bunch of high-rise condos and apartments there. So I'm walking. I round this bend. I'm asking the question again, what is it that walks? All of a sudden, it's a windy day, so I see the waves crash on the shore. I feel the wind. And I just realized all of a sudden, whatever it is that's allowing me to walk, it's the same thing that's making these waves crash, it's making this wind blow, and it's actually creating the beach of everything I see, the people. And all of a sudden, I got this feeling, I'm not this separate being enclosed in the skin, living in some kind of hostile universe, trying to make it. I'm actually part of all of this stuff. And I really don't have to struggle. I got this feeling the universe is loving. It's almost like a family. And from that time on, I got so much more comfortable relating to other people and just relating to life. So when we can realize this oneness, it's just a wonderful feeling, a wonderful experience. It changes so much. So we live from this oneness, but sometimes we live from what Michael Bernard Beckwith calls the surface mind. Sometimes we call it the personality versus the individuality. Sometimes we call it the ego. Sometimes we call it our personas, these things, these masks we put on. And it's chattering away a lot of times, and it gives us these ideas of separation. And actually, its main idea is the illusion of separation. But we can choose, because we have the power of choice, to live from this oneness. And that gives us the power of unconditional love and this infinite joy. So how do we do that? There's some practices we can do. In Unity, it's called affirmative prayer. In Center for Spiritual Living, we call it spiritual mind treatment. And actually, every time we do that style of prayer, we're affirming the oneness. We're affirming that there's one power in the universe, and then we're affirming our oneness within and as it. And then, in this case, we can go on to affirm that we have this innate ability to experience and feel this oneness, and we can bring ourselves back and live from it in our everyday lives. Another practice we can do is meditation. I've been practicing a form of meditation called insight meditation from the Buddhist tradition, and it has two parts. We center ourselves, and we just open up. We become aware of whatever's coming in, even if it's that surface mind that's chattering on and on about our separation, fear, limitation. We accept it, we open up to it, we just listen to it, and then we let it go, which is the other part, letting go. So we use an anchor like the breath. We're open to whatever comes in, and when it starts to fade, we let it go and come to the breath. And that tends to rub off in our everyday lives. We become more aware of when this surface mind is saying things to us that we don't really believe. We become more tuned into our feelings, just everything that's happening. And we're also able to let it go and make that choice to live from this oneness. Which brings us to daily life practice. I like to use little mini chants to bring me back to the sense of oneness. I have a tune called Loving Spirit, and I use a chant from that song. It goes, Loving Spirit. Sing that with me one time. Loving Spirit. Yeah, so in the course of the day, I'm getting busy, I'm walking around, it's getting toward the end of the day, I'm getting tired, my surface mind starts to go, oh man, I wish I was done already, it's such a busy day, blah, 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 blah. Loving Spirit. Try that again. Loving Spirit. So even if my surface mind is a little fried, that really brings me back, so it's because it's real simple.